Okay, let's just jump right into this explainer. Have you ever felt like you're waking up every single day, commuting, working incredibly hard, and yet somehow you're just running on a treadmill that keeps speeding up? Well, we're going to decode the invisible tracks that are secretly controlling your daily life and your bank account. You see, we're often told that earning just a little bit more money is the ultimate key to our freedom. But what if the whole system of money, combined with our own psychology, is literally designed to keep us trapped in an invisible cage? Today, we're breaking down exactly how this trap works, and far more importantly, how you can actually escape it.
Take professional boxer Mike Tyson, for example. Over the course of his incredible career, the guy made over $300 million. I mean, you'd think someone with that kind of insane income would be set for 10 lifetimes, right? Yet, no joke, he filed for bankruptcy back in 2003 with $30 million in debt. It is absolutely staggering to realize that someone can bring in hundreds of millions of dollars and still end up totally broke.
So if a multi-millionaire can completely run out of cash, what chance do the rest of us have? Well, it brilliantly illustrates a key point. Escaping the rat race isn't just about earning more money. It's about fundamentally fixing your behavior and your whole relationship with money. You can have all the income in the world, but if your consumption habits are broken, you are always going to end up back at zero. The core issue isn't the size of your paycheck, it's the hidden forces dictating how you spend it.
All right, let's get into Section 1, the rat race illusion, and the endless cycle.
Think about the daily cycle we're all taught from day one. You wake up, commute, work, get paid, sleep, and repeat. We're programmed to just follow this specific track. Get good grades, get a safe job, and your life is basically set. But the reality for most of us is that this just becomes an endless loop. It's an illusion of progress. You're running as fast as you can just to stay in the exact same spot. You get that first salary, you think you finally have freedom, but then society steps in. You buy that new iPhone on an EMI plan, you take out a massive car loan because, hey, you feel you deserve it, and suddenly you're wearing golden handcuffs. Remember the famous saying, the things you own end up owning you? That invisible trap actually makes you far more dependent on your job than ever before. It goes from being a choice to a desperate necessity just to maintain a lifestyle you financed on credit.
Moving on to Section 2. What is money, really? Currency versus value.
To understand how we get trapped in this cage, we really need to uncover what money actually is and how the banking system operates. Because let's face it, you can't win a game if you don't even know the rules. We all just blindly accept the numbers in our bank accounts without ever questioning where they come from. Historically, humans moved from the barter system, trading goods directly, over to using gold and silver because it held universal value. But hauling a heavy gold around was dangerous and super inconvenient, so people started leaving their gold with goldsmiths who gave them paper IOU receipts in return. Eventually, people just started trading these paper receipts instead of the physical gold. Those goldsmiths laid the foundation for the very first banks, and those paper receipts became the first paper currency. But the goldsmiths quickly figured out a massive secret. People rarely ever came back for their physical gold all at once. And this brings us to the modern version of this system, the so-called legal scam of fractional reserve banking. Let's say you deposit $1,000 in cash. The bank doesn't just lock it in a vault with your name on it. By law, they might only hold 10%, so just $100 in reserve. They instantly loan out the remaining $900 to someone else. When you check your app, you see $1,000. When the borrower checks their app, they see $900. The bank is literally creating virtual money out of thin air just by typing digits on a screen. If everyone went to the bank to withdraw their cash today, the money physically wouldn't be there.
Because of this system, we completely confuse currency with actual money. Currency is really just a medium of exchange, fiat paper or digital numbers that can literally become worthless overnight if a government changes policies. But true money, like gold or tangible assets, actually has intrinsic worth. By constantly chasing virtual currency that loses its purchasing power, we get trapped in a reality where 90% of our perceived wealth is, honestly, just a digital illusion.
Which brings us to Section 3, the psychology of spending and our own mental bugs.
The absolutely crucial point here is that this rigged banking system teams up perfectly with the mental bugs in our own psychology to keep us locked in the rat race. The system provides the endless credit, sure, but our brains provide the willingness to dive headfirst into debt. First up is hyperbolic discounting. Now, that's just a fancy term for a very simple cognitive bias. Our brains are totally hardwired for instant gratification. If given the choice, we would much rather buy those brand new shoes or go out to a luxury dinner today instead of investing that exact same amount of money to secure our financial freedom tomorrow. We heavily discount the future just to satisfy our cravings right now.
And what happens when we give in to that instant gratification and overspend?
We experience the ostrich effect.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. You have a big weekend out, and then you literally hide from checking your banking app, much like an ostrich burying its head in the sand. We know the financial information is going to be negative, so our psychological defense mechanism is just to avoid looking at it entirely. But ignoring the problem, that only tightens the bars of the invisible cage.
Then add in the fear of missing out and the massive trap of social comparison. Maybe you buy a car just because your neighbor, your friend, or Sharmaji's son bought one. And social media just supercharges this. We see influencers on tropical vacations or wearing luxury brands, and we voluntarily surrender our future freedom just to look successful on Instagram today. It's crazy. We're buying things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't even know.
All right, time for Section 4, Escaping the Invisible Cage. Let's rewrite your code.
So the traditional school system trains us to be obedient workers and blind consumers. We're taught to chase good grades so we can get a safe salary, pay our taxes, and just consume products. But here's the silver lining. Once you actually see the cage, you can break out of this programming. You can rewrite the code. Here is your escape plan. First, critically question every single purchase. Is this a genuine need or just a spontaneous want? Second, flip your habits and pay yourself first by investing before you spend a single dime of your paycheck. Third, actively stop comparing your behind-the-scenes life to the highlight reels you see online. Fourth, build a rock-solid emergency fund covering 3 to 6 months of expenses to eliminate that panic of living paycheck to paycheck. And finally, budget and actually track where your value's going.
And finally, Section 5, Creating Value and Wealth, Producing Actual Value.
Now, mastering your spending and living frugally, that's really only half the battle. You can only cut your expenses so much, right? To truly build wealth and achieve absolute freedom, we need to shift our mindset from just defending our money to actively building it. We must drastically flip the scales between our consumption and our production. See, consumption drains wealth. It's buying subscriptions, upgrading cars, constantly shopping. Production generates wealth. It's building a business, creating content, or solving real problems at scale. Because at its very core, money isn't just paper. It's simply a reflection of the perceived value you provide to the market. So if you want more money, you have to produce more value.
Currently, 80 to 90% of people, let's say around 85%, will never be financially free because their entire identity is tied up in being pure consumers. The system literally needs them to consume. But the 10 to 15% who actually find a way to produce value at scale, whether that's through a highly specialized job, leveraging the internet, or building a scalable business, they cross over to true financial freedom. They transition from paying into the system to actually getting paid by the system.
The system may have expertly designed this invisible cage with endless credit and constant social pressure, but you have the power to reprogram your own mind and your own habits. You understand the psychology now. You see right through the illusion. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to consider. Which path will you choose today? Are you going to stay comfortable in the rat race, or will you start doing the hard work to build real, lasting freedom?